America. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 5th President's video. Oh my god, number 5. You didn't think I would make it this far, did you? Well, I did. And the 5th one is James Monroe, President from 1817 to 1825. He was the last President of the Virginia Dynasty, which, if you didn't already know, it was the it's 3 consecutive presidencies: Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, all Democratic Republicans, all with little opposition from the Federalist Party. He's also the last founding father to become president. He had a very colorful political career before becoming president, like pretty much every person before him. He's a senator, governor, both for Virginia, ambassador to the UK, and a delegate to the Confederation of Virginia, and Secretary of State under Madison, where he negotiated the Treaty of Ghent that ended the War of 1812. Some little facts about him: he served in the Revolutionary War, and during his presidency the White House was actually painted white because, remember, it was burned down in the War of 1812, so it had to be remade and stuff. Yeah. He was born April 28th, 1758, and died July 4th, 1851. He's the 3rd president to die on July 4th, the other 2 being Jefferson and Adams. Monroe easily won both the elections of 1816 and 1820 in very clear landslide victories, because the Federalist Party was very disorganized and they failed to agree on an opposition to James Monroe, which really made it easy for him to win both times, especially in 1820 when Monroe almost won unanimously. He got all the delegate votes except for one, which was cast for his Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams. This period during his 8 years in office was called the Era of Good Feelings, and characterized his domestic politics because America at that time was really ultimately ruled by one political party. The Federalists were out of the picture because of the Hartford Convention and whatnot, and their opposition to the War of 1812. However, there were a few instances where it wasn't so positive and wasn't really a era of good feelings. The first one was the Panic of 1819, which was just an economic depression. It went away relatively quickly, but it was because of war debt and whatnot. The second one was Missouri applied for statehood as a slave state, which caused a lot of controversy because it would disrupt the balance between slave states and free states. Neither side wanted the other to have more slave states or more free states, because that side would ultimately control the Senate. A couple years later, they came with the Missouri Compromise, which made Maine a free state and Missouri a slave state, and it banned slavery north of latitude 3630 forever. This lasted until 1857, when it was declared unconstitutional as a part of the Dred Scott decision. But besides these 2 things, domestically, Monroe tried to reduce political tensions by ignoring party lines. He didn't really believe in them. There obviously wasn't really much of wasn't much party politics during his terms in office. Everyone knows James Monroe for his foreign policy, and they only know him, and he really only did like one major thing in his foreign policy, and that was the Monroe Doctrine. Between 1815 and 1822, many Latin American countries, they revolted and declared independence because inspiration from the United States. And after Napoleon's reign as emperor, Europe was kind of just in a mess. So they took that opportunity to revolt and declare independence from these European states. So what James Monroe did, or actually what his Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams, did, was write the Monroe Doctrine. Monroe presented it to Congress in December 1823. It basically said that Americans should be free from future European colonization and interference. Also furthered U.S. intentions to stay neutral in European wars and their colonies. But any act of colonization in America was considered hostile to the U.S. Basically, it said, Europe, stay the of our affairs, and we will stay out of yours. It's like a small dog making a big bark, trying to prove itself. And this is kind of what pushed America into global affairs. At the time of its adoption, though, it wasn't really centered more towards Western Europe, like France and Spain and Britain. Britain was actually on the United States' side when it came to this issue. They didn't want colonization of America to continue. It was mainly towards the Russians, who were going in colonizing the West Coast through Alaska. James Monroe was a very interesting president. No one really knows him for much other than the Monroe Doctrine. America. I hope you liked this video. If you enjoyed it, you should show your enjoyment and prove it to me. And if you have any questions that you would like me to answer about this guy, any of the previous presidents, or anything in general, feel free to leave a comment below. And I will see you guys next time. America.